Hello and welcome to another update. In this one we'll be covering the Vuhledar and Donetsk fronts as well as the Bakhmut front and finally the Luhansk front. Starting out in the Vuhledar front, we've gotten a much clearer picture of what is actually happening. So according to the latest Rybar report, the Russian forces are attacking in the southeastern parts of Vuhledar as well as the Dacha area, which is to the east of Vuhledar, and that they are fighting at the outskirts of these areas rather than having captured them. So that explains that the old update was very wrong and that they had never reached the northeastern parts or northwestern parts, but they are only fighting at the eastern parts of Vuhledar. And at the same time, they have advanced significantly to the northeast of Vuhledar, where they are attacking this smaller residential area, which is this area here as well as this area here, where they're trying to gain control over this high ground, which you can see on the satellite image, as well as the residential area and buildings here to the northeast of Vuhledar. Capturing this would cut off the road to Vuhledar from the northeast and the only significant road that goes to and from Vuhledar. Huge shout out to Zodiac Mapping for having the correct mapping throughout this whole time. So the Ukrainians are holding the Russians out by the eastern side of Vuhledar, and the Russians are trying to break through the Ukrainian defenses. Moving on to the Donetsk front, the Russian forces are continuing their attacks in the direction of Nevelske, as well as to the northeast of Vodiane, where the latest reports suggest that they are trying to cross over this valley here, if you see this. So the Russian forces could advance towards Sheverne, but most likely the Ukrainian forces have defensive positions to the northeast of the village, so they are trying to go around the village and take these positions before attacking the village itself, as it is located by a valley. So it will be difficult to hold if the Ukrainians have a proper defensive positions to the north of it. Moving on to the Bakhmut front, we see that the Russian forces are attacking in the western direction towards the Pushki, as well as the northern direction against Ivanivske. Here they're trying to cut off the highway that goes between Bakhmut and Konstantinivka, and they're fighting over control of the southern villages of Ivanivske and Stupuchki to get a better position by the highway, as well as cut off the supplies. And at the same time, they're fighting over these hills to the west and the forest line to the east. As for Bakhmut itself, we see the Russian forces continue their attacks in the residential area to the south and to the north of the southeastern part, as well as to the north of the northeastern part. And the north of Bakhmut, we see that the Russian forces are continuing their attacks in the direction of Krasnogora, Peroskolivka, and the north of these villages. So most likely the way this is going on is from Vuhledar and from Soledar towards Krasnogora, and finally in the center between Peroskolivka and Krasnogora, where they're trying to cut off the roads between the two villages. Doing this will cut off Krasnogora from the Ukrainian positions, and then it will allow them to attack Peroskolivka from the eastern part of the railways that goes through the center of the village. Finally, on the Luhansk front, we see that the Russian forces are attacking the direction of Makiyivka, as well as the northwestern part in the area of the Vorishne, as we see them attacking Hryani-Kivka, because the Vorishne is under Russian control, so they are now trying to take the final village on the eastern bank of the Oskil River, here to the northeast of the Kharkiv region. And that's all for this update. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed and have a great day.